Rolling Thunder. The Tonkin Gulf incident and Viet Cong clashes with U.S. troops convinced LBJ's national security advisors that North Vietnam must be punished. Key advisor McGeorge Bundy believed that bombing the North would prove that the United States was determined to defend South Vietnam. The Operation Rolling Thunder bombing campaign began in March 1965. It targeted bridges, motorways, railways, airfields, factories, power plants, and fuel depots. Johnson called a temporary halt to the bombing 7 times. He hoped halts would give the Communists a chance to ask for peace terms. They did not. Despite the damage, the Hanoi government continued its war effort and kept the supply chain to the VC flowing. Johnson ordered an end to the campaign on the 31st of October 1968. McGeorge Bundy. Bundy was a security advisor to Presidents Kennedy and Johnson. He urged the bombing campaign and helped plan it. Air Force Thunder Chiefs. Air Force F-105 Thunder Chief fighter bombers are refueled in the air while on their way to bomb North Vietnam, in 1966. The refueling aircraft, at right, is a KC-135 Stratotanker. Many U.S. fighter bombers flew from bases thousands of kilometers away and had to refuel during their missions. Stratotanker S drogue, refueling device, connects with fighter bomber to pump in fuel. Strategic targets. Around 600,000 tons of bombs were dropped on North Vietnam during Rolling Thunder, causing great destruction. U.S. aircraft avoided hitting major population areas around Hanoi and Haiphong, shown circled. LBJ wanted to minimize civilian casualties. Successful mission. Air Force Commander George Jacobson Jr. signals with the OK sign that he has completed a mission against NVA ammunition depots in 1965. Jacobson had just landed safely on the carrier USS Ranger, operating off the Vietnamese coast. U.S. planes were limited to destroying military and economic targets during Rolling Thunder. Bombs fall. F-105 Thunder Chiefs following a B-66 destroyer over North Vietnam release their bombs. These small fighter bombers attacked targets with great accuracy, while high-flying heavy bombers dropped payloads over a wider area. Fighter bombers flew low to avoid NVA radar. Radar is an electronic system that sends out radio waves to detect objects at a distance. Planes flying lower than the radio waves are not detected. After a strike. A North Vietnamese railway bridge has partially collapsed after a U.S. airstrike. Cutting railroads made it difficult for the Communists to transport equipment and troops. Whenever LBJ called a halt to bombing, the North Vietnamese hurried to rebuild their damaged factories and transport links. Wild Weasel Landing. This F-100 fighter's landing is slowed by a tail parachute. The aircraft is fitted with radar jamming equipment that interferes with anti-aircraft electronic devices. Nicknamed Wild Weasels, these fighters specialized in finding and attacking surface-to-air missile (SAM) sites. They flew daringly low, through enemy fire, leading warplanes into action against North Vietnamese anti-aircraft positions. North Vietnam's air defense. With aid from the USSR and China, Hanoi built a formidable anti-aircraft defense. The small North Vietnamese Air Force also became increasingly effective during Rolling Thunder. Most of North Vietnam's warplanes and anti-aircraft weapons were provided by its allies, as was training in their use and maintenance. During Rolling Thunder, more bombs were dropped on North Vietnam than the United States used in the Pacific Theater in World War II. Home Guard. Young women in the Hanoi Home Guard search the skies for U.S. warplanes. Thousands of civilians were equipped with weapons and instructed to fire into the air. This created a storm of bullets to drive off or shoot down an attacker. Hanoi postcard. The Hanoi government used postcards as propaganda tools. This card shows a peasant watching a stricken U.S. aircraft flaming to the ground. The pilot has parachuted clear, but will be captured. Air raid alarm. Hanoi resident takes covers in an air raid shelter dug into the edge of a city street. Wailing sirens alerted people find shelter immediately whenever U.S. plane by. A piece of sheet metal is at hand, to be drawn over the hole for a cover if bombs fall. Aiming a SAM. A surface-to-air guided missile crew on the outskirts of Hanoi prepares for a U.S. air attack. Thousands of trained Chinese SAM operators volunteered to serve in North Vietnam. SAMs were more than 9 meters, 30 feet, long, with 114 kilograms, 250 pounds, of explosives. The U.S. campaign lost 922 aircraft, most of them shot down by SAMs and anti-aircraft guns.